Good evening and welcome to Ville News. I'm Sanai Browning alongside Georgea Hall, here to give you the latest local, state, and national headlines.
Coming up, we have updates on the Havana syndrome and an infant left home alone for 10 days. Stay tuned because Ville News starts now.
The National Institutes of Health have recently published studies done on the mysterious illness known as, quote, Havana syndrome, end quote. Reports of this sickness started to surface in 2016 when diplomats reported symptoms that correlated with head trauma. While reports first started in the Cuban capital of Havana, clusters of reports followed years later in Bogota, Colombia, and Vienna, Austria. Government officials have accumulated around 1,500 reports of this syndrome. Some officials believe that these symptoms could have been put on as a targeted campaign towards the U.S. from an enemy. The medical community has struggled with defining these, quote, anomalous health incidents, end quote, as testing was done long after symptoms started occurring. A 2022 test believes symptoms could have been caused by pulse electromagnetic energy from an external source. Scientists have now confirmed through high-quality diffusion MRIs that between two testing groups there was no significant difference in those who have reported having Havana syndrome to regular brain structures.
On June 16th, a 16-month-old baby was found dead after being left alone by her mother for 10 days while she was away on vacation. Crystal Candelero of Cleveland left her daughter Jaylin in a playpen with a few bottles of milk. A neighbor's doorbell camera captured the baby screaming at 1 a.m., 2 days after her mother had left. Candelera was away with a male friend traveling to Puerto Rico and Detroit before returning home to find her daughter dead. On Monday, Candelera pleaded guilty to 1 count of aggravated murder and 1 count of child endangering. Candelera was also sentenced to life in prison.
We get back updates on a Philadelphia man sentenced to life in prison and a Bucks County man accused of fatally shooting 3 family members. Ville News will be right back. Keivn, a 41-year-old from Philadelphia, has been sentenced to spend the remainder of his life in prison for a spree of crimes in 2021. In November 2023, Gibson was found guilty on multiple charges, including 4 counts of murder, attempted murder, possession of a firearm during a felony, robbery, conspiracy, theft of a motor vehicle, wearing body armor during a felony, and possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. This verdict came after Gibson was accused of murdering 2 individuals and being linked to 6 other deaths across Delaware and Pennsylvania. In a landmark decision on Wednesday, March 13th, Gibson was declared a habitual offender and received 7 life terms plus an additional 296 years behind bars for his 22 convictions. Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings praised the prosecutors for their exceptional work on this deeply disturbing case, emphasizing the impact on the victims and their families. Our heartfelt condolences go out to all those affected by Gibson's heinous actions.
On Saturday, March 16th in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, a 26-year-old man named Andre Gordon was accused of fatally shooting 3 family members. Authorities say Gordon was barricaded at a residence on the 100 block of Phillips Avenue in Trenton. He carried out the attacks with a, quote, an AR-15 style assault rifle, end quote. The crime spree triggered temporary shelter-in-place orders for residents in Falls Township. Gordon has not requested a public defender, according to PA court documents. Bucks County District Attorney Jennifer Shorn said that Gordon was driving a stolen vehicle from Trenton and fatally shot his 52-year-old stepmother, Karen Gordon, and his 13-year-old sister, Kara Gordon, in their home. The investigation is still ongoing, according to the authorities, and Gordon will remain in custody in New Jersey before being extradited to Pennsylvania.
When we get back, we'll have updates on a controversial drag show in Lancaster and a new public restroom on the streets of Lancaster City. Ville News will be right back. A drag event at Lancaster Public Library later this month is stirring a lot of trouble within the community. Drag queens will be coming into the Lancaster Public Library and reading books to children. Lancaster County Commissioner Josh Parsons holds several concerns for the event and considers it inappropriate for children. The library director, Lisa Holland, argues against this claim by stating that the event is not an adult drag program. It is a wholesome and happy event with serving the community in mind. However, Parsons says that, quote, "I think the community has to speak and say that this is inappropriate. The library is funded through contributions. It is also funded in part by municipalities, so they have to make a decision about whether they think this is inappropriate," end quote. The library, however, is not paying for the event, and the cost is being covered by Lancaster Pride. As of now, the event will still be taking place on March 23rd and currently has a wait list to attend.
Lancaster City is working to provide a public restroom for people living on the streets to use, as well as the general public. The new structure costs around $188,000 and is expected to be installed within the upcoming weeks. The restroom is known as the, quote, "Portland Loo," end quote, after similar structures were created in Portland, Oregon for people struggling with access to bathrooms. The bathroom will be implemented at the corner of Prince and Orange Streets and will be cemented to the ground. The Lancaster Downtown Investment District Clean Team will be in charge of cleaning and maintaining the structure daily. The public restroom will be open for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's all we have this week for Ville News. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in next week for the latest local, state, and national headlines.